Welcome home to USA Global TV and Radio, a place where dreams take flight, with authentic storytelling, diverse perspectives and meaningful conversations, where global stories unite and bridges are built beyond all borders. Discover world-class education, entertainment, hope and inspiration. Together, we're building bridges worldwide. Subscribe to our channel, USA Global TV. Download our app, USA Global TV. Be our guest or join our team. Visit usaglobaltv.com. Thanks to our founder and executive producer, Dr. Jacqueline Kerbeck. Music score by Yeffy Tang from Cloud Road Music. Voiceover artist Mike Porter. Creative direction by Paul Garcia. USA Global TV and Radio, your home for global connection. All rights reserved. This video and its contents are the exclusive property of USA Global TV and Radio. Unauthorized use, duplication or redistribution in any form is strictly prohibited.
Hello and welcome to USA Global TV and Radio, where we provide world-class education, entertainment, hope and inspiration. Our show today is A Woman's Prerogative in partnership with E360 TV. Our topic today, I'm very excited about this topic because it's something that's very dear to my heart. From people pleasing to power, a woman's path to bold leadership. I'm a TV presenter and the resident therapist for USA Global TV and Radio. I'm Caroline Heward. I'm absolutely thrilled and honoured to be representing Dr. Jacqueline as your host for USA Global TV and Radio's flagship show, A Woman's Prerogative. I'm the resident therapist on USA Global TV and Radio, as well as a Talking Heads expert. Woo, got that wrong. A warm welcome to all of our loyal viewers and our viewers on E360 TV. Hello to all of our friends on our usual social media channels, YouTube, LinkedIn, Facebook, and X. I'm joined today by our full-time panelist, Reverend Lydia Fougeres, all the way from Canada. And we also have a very, very special guest. And I'm going to announce that special guest any moment now. So let's bring out Reverend Lydia Fougeres. She is a TV presenter in her own right. She is an author of bilingual self-help. She's a registered nurse, holistic nurse. She's an intuitive and spiritual healer. She also invented Miracle Mist, which is patent pending, and she's an advocate for free rights. She has her own show, which is a top 10 hit regularly on USA Global TV and Radio in French. A very warm welcome to our full-time panelist, Reverend Lydia Fougeres.
Hello.
We now have, and we're just going to bring our guest, our very special guest out, and then we'll do the introductions because I want to make sure that we bring her out because it's going to be quite exciting for her to come and share the platform. Our special guest is CARLEY, and I need to make sure that I pronounce this right, DOXTATOR. She's a certified life coach. She's an entrepreneur. She is a speaker. She hosts Girls Night, which is a podcast on YouTube. She's the founder of and CEO of KRC Coaching. CARLEY's mission, and this is really dear to my heart, she wants to help, and she is helping women connect with their authentic selves. That is so true to where I sit, and I know Reverend Lydia does. She is cultivating confidence, which creates the lives that they truly love. She believes women shift. When they shift their mindset, they embrace their worth. She also believes it unlocks their own potential. And it has the ability to uplift not only themselves, but those around them. Please give a very warm welcome to CARLEY DOXTATOR.
Hi, everyone. And you pronounced my last name perfectly, Caroline.
Wonderful. I didn't check that with you backstage, did I?
That's okay. That's okay. You pronounced it perfectly. So
wonderful. I'm very pleased to hear that because I think that it's always nice to have your name pronounced correctly. So before we begin the show and get really into this wonderful content, I'd like to give you an opportunity to introduce yourself. So please, let's start with Reverend Lydia. Please tell our guests and our viewers a little bit about what you do and the value that you bring.
Well, I am a Reverend in metaphysics. I am a world-known author for my 2-series volume of 111 Reflections for Thy Earth Odyssey. I am a spiritual teacher also, and invite my readers to engage in life through curiosity. I am ambassador for equality and country manager for Canada and French countries for USA Global TV and radio. And thank you very much for having me.
Thank you, Reverend Lydia. It's always such a delight and a pleasure to have you on this platform. You share such incredible, insightful shares that are personal as well as very, very helpful to others. And we're very similar, aren't we, in the ways that we think and how we like to be in life, regardless of what our challenges are or not. Please, CARLEY, please tell our viewers a little bit about what you do and the value that you bring.
Yeah, absolutely. I think you did a great job to begin with, Caroline. But as you mentioned, I am the CEO and founder of KRC Coaching. And really my whole purpose here is to help people come better into alignment with themselves and what they're truly meant to be doing. So that has a lot to do with finding out our life purpose, cultivating confidence in ourselves, and really just understanding how we work so that we can create better outcomes for our lives. So in my coaching, I do that through a mix of EFT, CBT, and NLP, which are different therapy modalities for anybody who is not familiar with those terms. But that is truly what my passion is. I do have a background in tech sales as well and in business. So I'm able to bring that perspective into my coaching with my clients.
Wonderful. Thank you very, very much, CARLEY. And we are going to be hearing more about what you do and how you help people during our show today. I'm known as the Harley Street Stress Expert, and I help people bust their stress. How do I do that? I work with root cause therapy and chakra psychology, how the mind and body connects and what happens to the person physically, emotionally, mentally, and behaviorally when there's an imbalance. And the imbalance is the symptom. Sometimes people walk around and they say, I'm not stressed, but then they don't sleep at night. They're complaining about a situation, event, and a circumstance or a relationship. And it's that's how it's manifesting in their life in terms of how the stress is being created. And I work with people to break through the blueprint of how their initiating symptom was created. And it's usually back in childhood. I'm also a speaker, and I speak at live events and online. And I also have my own show on USA Global TV called Talking Heads, which is once a month. And I'm also guest, thank you, Dr. Jacqueline. I'm one of 5 Talking Head speakers, and I've been on the platform now for just about almost 4.5 years. So let's get into the topic. From people pleasing to power, a woman's path to bold leadership. Generations of women have been encouraged, and I do say this because both myself and Reverend Lydia are of a time that, we were very much shrinking violets. We weren't allowed, in 1980, when I left school, we either chose career or we chose a relationship, marriage, and babies. We couldn't have both. So this is very, very dear to my heart. They were encouraged to shrink from their real true selves. They were encouraged to say yes when they really wanted to say no. They prioritized other people's needs over their own. And I have witnessed, as well as all of us here, I believe, have witnessed powerful shifts. Women are reclaiming the right to choose. They also are reclaiming a right to lead with intuition. We are moving into an empowerment time, which is the women's leadership. We also are moving into a place of living unapologetically. Tonight, we're moving from people-pleasing to self-leadership. We are redefining worthiness. We will create a world of women that lead with courage and confidence. Let's begin our conversation. I want to first ask our beautiful and wonderful guest, CARLEY. You seem very young, and that isn't to take away your skill and where you are right now, but please do share with our viewers What made you move into this line of work from corporate to what you're doing now? It's quite a big move for somebody that's quite young, and that isn't a judgment. I just think it's amazing because I didn't hit this world until I was 36. So I'm really interested, and I'm sure our viewers are, to hear what made you move and do what you do now with passion.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's a great question. And you're right, I am young, and I feel like that's something that I get a lot. But I think where it starts is that I was actually very successful at a very young age too. So even in my sales career, I kind of skyrocketed to the top of my sales career at a very young age. So part of how I made a move is because I reached the top of where I wanted to go there, and I realized that it wasn't giving me the feeling that I thought it would give me, right? And I think that's a feeling that a lot of us can relate to, because we think that these big achievements are going to give us some sense of happiness that at the end of the day, maybe it just doesn't. So I found myself there where I wasn't feeling as fulfilled as I thought that I would once I reached that point in my sales career. And then the part two of that is that I've always been somebody that has liked to help other people. And I've always been somebody that people feel comfortable opening up around. So it's kind of a natural transition to be in a space like therapy, in a space like coaching, where you're talking about vulnerable topics, right? So you have to be somebody that other people are able to trust in that aspect. But this, I thought, gave me that avenue to do something bigger with the skills that I had naturally and the skills that I had already learned in sales, to make a bigger impact on the world and to make a really big impact on just individual people, because I have a belief that big changes start within. So that's where it all began for me, is figuring out a way to just help people in the biggest way possible for their personal lives.
Wow, thank you very much. That's really inspirational. Do you have any thoughts or anything that you wish to share about what moved you into changing your career to help people, Reverend Lydia?
What moved me? Actually, the thing is that I wanted to change lives. So that is why I became a nurse. I wanted to change lives. I wanted to change everything. Absolutely. But I was very young, and I reached at 24, I was already an assistant head nurse. So I wanted to be good and even the best. And I wanted everyone's life to be changed by my moves. So that was a big challenge. So I did not succeed doing that. But the thing is that I did change some lives, and I saved many lives.
Wonderful and very inspirational, Reverend Lydia. It leads me on to a question of reclaiming the power of choice. What does it mean for a woman to see decision-making as a sacred act? Please, CARLEY, share with us your views on decision-making as a sacred act.
Yeah, I mean, I think it goes back to what you were saying at the beginning, that we haven't always had the ability to make a choice for ourselves, right? There's a history of women being prosecuted, persecuted, and downright just not having the right to make a choice, whether that was with voting or with even opening a bank account. Something that this reminds me of is actually the Salem witch trials, and there were witch trials across the world, right? That and across Europe, it wasn't just in Massachusetts, but the Salem witch trials were all about silencing powerful women, right? So it's not a right that we've always had. So by reclaiming our choice in the way that we have now, you are stepping forward, not just for yourselves, but for all the women that came before you that did not have that choice themselves.
Do you have any thoughts or comments to share, Reverend Lydia, on what CARLEY has just shared?
Women are very silenced, that is for sure. And the thing about the witches is so true. I know that. We are silenced, and it is hard to come out and say what we do and not be scared of judgment. So the problem is judgment. The problem is not only judgment from males, the judgment comes from females also, because what we do is not always what we are expected to do as females. So judgment comes from everywhere. So we have to stand strong as women together. That is the way I feel.
Thank you very much, Reverend Lydia, for your insightful share. As I shared earlier on, that I started off life in 1980 when I left school. And it was very much a man's world then. And it was very much in the management, which I was qualified manager at 19. It was very much a man's dominated world in management. And it was quite hard to be taken seriously. And this isn't a man bashing thing. This is more a case of the reality of the fact that that wasn't that long ago. It doesn't feel that long ago. And yet I am seeing where it was in 1980 when I first left school, and how hard it was, and that it's much more open now for women to be in boardrooms and in management positions and doing well. I still feel that we have a long way to go, and there wasn't these topics like people pleasing, and that's what I feel that we did. You know, we said the right things, we spoke the right language, and we were very much in that position of being underneath the powerful space when I first started working. So things have changed dramatically. So how can women shift from making choices out of fear to making choices from a place of power? CARLEY, please do share your thoughts on that.
Yeah, I think the first step is actually realizing that you're making that choice out of fear, because a lot of us fall into these subconscious patterns that we learned when we were kids, that we learned while we were growing up, of what you're supposed to be doing or what is safe and what is unsafe. And so what our brains do, they just default back to those patterns because they're so familiar. But just because it's familiar to our brains doesn't mean it's what's best for us. So the first step is to really just recognize that you're doing it out of fear. And the second step, to me, is to make incremental choices in the direction that you want to be going instead. Because again, going back to the way that our subconscious minds work, big changes really fast feel really scary. So it'll do anything to hold on to what it feels is familiar. So to make that change, you have to let your brain know that this new direction is safe by giving yourself those little wins and giving yourself those little changes that make it a lot easier for you to adjust in the new direction.
Thank you very much, CARLEY. Do you have any thoughts to share on what's been shared by CARLEY, or do you have anything to add to what CARLEY has shared? Reverend Lydia?
Oh, no, CARLEY is absolutely right about everything. We have to go for it. We absolutely have to go for it and stop fearing. We have to be brave, and we actually have to stop worrying about what others think. We really have to stop bothering about the judgment. So we have to go for it. And, you know, whoever never tries never fails. So the thing is that, you know, you can't succeed if sometimes you're not scared of failing. So I do think that we have to try and try and try. We're going to succeed anyways, so might as well try.
Thank you very much, Reverend Lydia. This is really powerful, isn't it? And it's empowering in terms of we're breaking down the myths of what we should be and what we shouldn't be, and what's okay and what's not okay. One of the things that has just come to mind in listening to this conversation is that many people are trying to be like someone else or leading from somebody else's life. And one of the phrases that I've heard quite frequently in the personal self-development world and the spiritual evolvement world is, you can't stop trying to be like somebody else. Everybody else is taken. You only need to be yourself because everyone else is taken. Be yourself. So we are just about to go into a commercial break. Wasn't that fast? We do have more to share. Please do come back after the commercial break, and we look forward to From People Pleasing to Power, a woman's path to bold leadership. Thank you so much to our wonderful guest, CARLEY DOXTATOR and Reverend Lydia Fougeres, and we look forward to seeing you after the short commercial break.
Get ready to wear the brand that's changing the world of media. Introducing the official USA Global TV and Radio online store. From our TV show hosts to our incredible global guests, you asked, we delivered. Rep your appearance with pride. Whether you've been on air, hosted a show, or tuned in, we have something just for you. Visit us at usaglobaltvradioshoп.myspreadshop.com and start shopping today. Check back frequently. We're dropping fresh new designs all the time. Showcase your role in our global community. These designs celebrate your voice, your story, your presence. It's more than just merchandise. It's a movement of hope, inspiration, education, and elevated listening. Head to usaglobaltvradioshoп.myspreadshop.com. Your spotlight awaits. USA Global TV and Radio. Elevate your style. Elevate the world.
Hello and welcome back to A Woman's Prerogative in partnership with E360 TV. We've been having a racy and fascinating conversation. If you missed part one just before the commercial break, please do join us on the replay. If you're on the live or the replay, welcome back. We have been exploring from people-pleasing to power, a woman's path to bold leadership. Please welcome back our wonderful special guest, CARLEY DOXTATOR from KCF. Oh gosh, I got that wrong. Coaching. Sorry about that, CARLEY. And also Reverend Lydia Fougeres, our full-time panelist. Thank you very much and welcome back, both of you. Well, let's really ramp up this conversation. Looking at what's one choice that you made, CARLEY, that changed the trajectory of your life or leadership?
Ooh, that's a really good question. I feel like the biggest choice that I made was to start choosing myself. And that was something that was really hard for me because growing up, and this is really intricately tied with this topic, right? Growing up, I really was somebody that wanted to make everybody else around me happy. I wanted to make my parents happy. I wanted to make my brother and my sister happy. I wanted to make all my friends happy. And I forgot about myself in the process. And I would really just grind myself down until there was just, I had no energy left, until I was feeling angry. And it's because I was showing up for everybody else except for myself. And so for me, one of the biggest things that I started doing was choosing myself and saying no to things that I didn't actually want to do. And the reason I feel like that's such a big choice is because to me, it felt very uncomfortable to actually say no to somebody when I wanted to say yes in every other way, because I wanted them to like me. I wanted them to choose me, essentially. But what I found ever since I started saying and making this promise to myself that I would say no to the things that I truly did not have the capacity for, I found that it actually helped my relationships, and it built up my relationships more because I had the capacity to actually show up in an authentic way. And because when you're telling somebody no on your side, you're also giving them permission to say no to you in a safe space. So I think that was one of the biggest changing points for me, was really just choosing myself, even when it felt uncomfortable to choose myself.
I'm so in alignment with you, CARLEY. I really do endorse what you've just shared. It was something that was very difficult for me, and I didn't say no for a very, very long time. And what it does is it takes a toll on you, because I was saying yes to everything, and there wasn't any space for me at all. And I was sometimes working very hard for everyone else and had no energy or anything for myself. I wasn't feeding myself. And it was this people pleasing. I wanted to be liked. I wanted to say yes. I became the willing workhorse. Please, Reverend Lydia, share anything that you wish to share in terms of saying no rather than saying yes.
Well, saying no to me means that when I was young, I had my child very young, and I did not even know how to write in French. And there was only a French school available in the town where I had moved. And I still wanted to be a nurse. And I went back to school with a child under the arm. And I did my nursing course, and I said no to everyone that wanted me to stay home and be a mother, a full-time mother. And I said no to all that. I decided that I wanted to be a full-time nurse. I decided that I wanted to be able to write in French, even if I could speak in French, not write. And I said no to people that were telling me you're in a French town, so walk like us. And that was a no for me. So it was no all the time. And I did what I wanted. That is what I did. So
Thank you so much, Reverend Lydia. It was a tough call for us back then. I think there's much more conversation in our current times than there was when we were making decisions about our career and what we were doing. And I do feel that it is better, even though it might not feel it, it's definitely better than what it used to be. CARLEY, what advice would you give to women who still feel that they need permission to take up space?
I would first and foremost ask them to explore where that actually comes from. When was the first time they actually felt like they needed permission in order to do that? I think you mentioned this earlier, Caroline, but lots of time that's rooted in our childhood. It makes me think of the concept of children are meant to be seen but not heard, which that's actually really detrimental, I feel like, to the way that we grow up and the way that we present ourselves in the world. So first of all, ask yourself where it's coming from. And then if you really do want to make a change, I said it earlier, like make those small incremental changes that you're trying to do in a way that feels comfortable for you. And I know that it feels scary to say no and to choose a different path when you've been doing it for so long. But at the end of the day, you only have this one life, maybe. Nobody truly knows what happens after we go, right? So this might be your only life. You are meant to live it in a way that is very empowering and very fulfilling. And the more that you do that for yourself, the more that you are allowing other people to do that too. Something that kind of helps me with this concept is when we talk about that concept of like filling each other's cup or filling your own cup before filling other people's cups. You think of filling one cup from the other, one cup gets drained of everything that's in it. And then you have to constantly refill that cup. But what I like to more think of is a champagne tower. So you're filling the top cup. Imagine the top cup is you. Once you're filled to the brim, you're actually overflowing into everybody around you and actually helping to make the world a better place and uplift the other people around you. So that, for me, I kept that image in the back of my mind when I was making all these changes, because I'm like, when I'm making myself better, when I'm making my own life better, and I'm making better choices for me and my future family, that's going to have a ripple effect out into the world. And that just helped motivate me in those moments where I was feeling down and questioning what I was doing.
Thank you very much, CARLEY. I'd agree with everything that you have just said, filling your own cup. I've got another analogy that I grew up with, and that was putting your own gas mask on, your own mask on a flight first, because if we put the mask on the flight to the child or the elderly person that we're caring for, then if we're gone because we've looked after them first, then there isn't anybody to look after them. And that's a really good metaphor in terms of understanding that we have to fill our own cup. Otherwise, when we're empty, and the other person is okay, but we're not okay. So, Reverend Lydia, do you have any comments to share on that?
No, absolutely not, because CARLEY is right. I have nothing to add.
Okay. Reverend Lydia, what are the first signs when a woman is reclaiming her self-leadership?
The first signs is that
others
do not like it. Well, others do not like it to start with. So they're trying to break you down. Absolutely. They try to break you down, and they try to tell you you're wrong. And what they say is, I don't really like it because you've changed. That's the sentence that everyone tells you. I don't really like the way you change. So when they say, I don't like the way you change, hooray. you succeeded.
That's so true. And I really resonate with that because I've gone through many changes over my different career changes and my many epiphanies in terms of my training. And that's a really key thing, that when people are commenting, you've changed, it's because it could be, especially if it's a friendship circle, that you've outgrown them, that you've moved on. And they're still where they are. And the reason that they can say that you've changed is because they don't have as much in common with you anymore. What are your thoughts, CARLEY?
Yeah, no, I completely agree. I think people will start to question the path that you're going down. And again, I believe that just has to do with their own fears internally, right? Because they're used to one situation, they're used to you showing up in a different way. So by you changing, you're actually kind of directly attacking their own personal situation. So again, their brains and their subconscious is going to go and fire off and be like, no, this isn't okay. Like, I have to do anything that I can to keep things how they were. So I think lots of times it's not even people showing up in a malicious way. It's more so just them showing up in their fear and projecting that onto you, because it is scary to see things change around us when we don't have any control over it. I think another sign that you can be aware of that you're on the right path is actually self-doubt. You start doubting yourself again, just because you're doing something new. You don't know if you're doing it right. You don't know if it's going to pan out in the end. But if you can make it to the other side of that doubt, then that's where all the magic is going to happen. So I would say, just like you two are both saying, like, you got to keep going despite what other people are saying, what other people are telling you to do.
Wise words, CARLEY. Very, very wise words. And I couldn't agree with you more. And as Reverend Lydia has mentioned, it's very hard to add because you're summing it up very beautifully. Thank you very much. And I'm sure that Reverend Lydia will agree with me. Do you have anything that you want to share on top of what CARLEY has just shared?
No, absolutely not.
It's an agreement, isn't it? I mean, I just feel that, we're in agreement with everything you're saying. It's like three musketeers. So
Yes.
bold decisions, and that's what we're talking about. Bold decisions often trigger fear. How can women create a sense of safety in that risk taking? Because I remember when I dropped my corporate career and went into being a therapist and doing lots of training, I had a lot of feedback. And I will say that diplomatically, I had feedback from friends that were thinking I'd gone off the rails, or there was something wrong with me. And I started doing things like energy healing and Reiki and NLP. They've sort of gone off the scale. And even family, one of my uncles said, is Caroline okay? To my mum. So this is the external perception, because they're seeing in 3D how you're changing. So how can women create a sense of safety in those risk-taking changes that are against the grain for the people that are around them, their peer group, their family, and their friends? CARLEY, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I relate with people saying that I've gone off the rails. People just question, right? And I think a lot of times people don't 100%, or my family, for example, my dad will always ask, like, what do you do again? Like, what is that you do? And it's not, but I feel like if you're scared of taking that risk, my biggest advice is to come home to yourself. Because at the end of the day, the world is always going to be chaotic around you. When you're making changes, as we've already mentioned, the haters are always going to come first, right? So I've kind of changed my thought process, where when there's people questioning me, when there's people being jerks to me, then I just look at it as a sign of success, right? Because if you're just placating everybody, then they're not going to have anything to say. But the second that people go against what you have to say, I feel like that is a step in the right direction, because you're coming more home to your own personal beliefs and you're actually giving yourself the voice to share them. So when I guess the mindset shift of looking at the haters as a progress step towards the people that actually love and support you and what you're doing, but also coming home to yourself, like I said. So when you have that guiding star in the distance, that is something that you can always come home to, right? Because that is a purpose that is bigger than yourself. So when you're able to take a step back, take a breath and say, this is what I'm doing this for. Like, it is worth it because of this shining star that's in the future. that's something that has helped me too, is understanding the bigger picture of it all, of why I'm doing it.
Thank you. I'm just nodding in agreement. I can see Reverend Lydia's nodding as well. It's really music to our ears because we're all singing from the same hymn sheet.
Mm-hmm.
Reverend Lydia, do you want to add anything in terms of your thoughts on moving towards more of what you really want? Because I know you've had a lot of challenge in changing what you do and the repercussions of that change with people within your peer group.
Well, by changing, I lost pretty much everyone around me. People actually thought, I was insane, which is okay. I do not worry about that. We're all a bit insane. So I do not worry about that. But, you have the ones that are the dictators. So you have the ones that are the dictators that will tell you, don't do this. You're not allowed to do this. They're not happy about this and they want you to stop. So they don't say, I would like, they say, no, don't do this. So those are the ones you have to stay away from, that you have to pay the price. And the price is that you have to sometimes isolate yourself from people. So if you want to move on, sometimes you have to isolate yourself from the wrong crowd to move toward the right crowd. So that is the way I see it. And if you want to be yourself, sometimes you have to stay away from those that were in your past. That is pretty much what I feel.
Wise words, Reverend Lydia, as always. And I've left a lot of people behind with each change, and it is difficult because it's almost like a grieving, a death, that you're leaving something behind. But then when you leave something behind, there's other doors that open up for you. When other people walk in, space is created for the right people to walk in that are more aligned with who you're being rather than who you were. Well, we are at the end of our show pretty much. So please, CARLEY, share a little bit about, because I know that you've got an offer to share. So please do share the offer and how people can contact you, what the best way to contact you is, and who you would like to reach out to you, to connect with you, for you to help them.
Yeah, of course. Thank you so much, first of all, for having me. It was a great conversation with both of you. As far as the promo goes that Caroline mentioned, I do one-on-one coaching sessions. So for anybody who is tuned in here, I'm actually offering 50% off your first coaching session. So you can sign up for those on my website. That's krccoaching.com. And then the promo code to use is WP50 to get that 50% off. That should just work in the coupon code when you check out. And then to reach me, again, you can use the website. I believe we have my email listed and my phone number, so feel free to reach me directly on those as well.
Wonderful. And what an amazing website, CARLEY. You made me very jealous. It made me think I need to sort out mine now. Really amazing website. Thank you very much, CARLEY. It's been an absolute delight and a pleasure to have you as our special guest. It really has, shedding some light on a very, very difficult issue. Reverend Lydia Fougeres, please share a little bit about how people can reach you and the best way to reach you and who you wish to connect with.
Well, I wish to connect with people that want to do programs from my books, from reflections. They want to transform, introspect, work on their mindfulness. They have to work on their self-discovery. So if they want to engage in life through curiosity, clarity, and sacred connection, they reach to me. And it's at 1514-582-6882. And at the email greatdivinemother@gmail.com. And my website is lydiafougeres.com. So, and also if they want to be either a host or a guest at USA Global TV and Radio, they can contact me at the same places because I am country manager for Canada and French countries. they should actually. They really should, because if they really want to be the guest, they want to be the star, actually, they can be. So in CARLEY, you would be a really good person to have your own show. Absolutely. I invite you to connect with me.
I will, 100%. So everybody follow my footsteps.
Thank you very much, Reverend Lydia. And for me, you can reach me on No More Stress at live.co.uk, or call if you're international +44 if you're local 7523 120 189. You can also reach out and connect with me on LinkedIn and drop me a message, and we can organise groups of sessions or a one-off session for you where I help you bust your stress, working at the blueprint level of your stress and identifying where it initially was created. I'm looking for people that are having difficulties, whether it's physical, emotional, mental, or behavioural stress, because I've been working with this root cause therapy for 25 years. So a long time ago, before a very long and deeply stressful corporate career, is when I made the move. Well, we have been exploring tonight with our wonderful special guest, CARLEY DOXTATOR, and our wonderful full-time panelist, Reverend Lydia. Tonight, we've been exploring the journey from people-pleasing to power, from shrinking to shining, from doubt to deep trust in ourselves. Every bold woman who chooses herself creates a ripple. She inspires others to lead with courage, intuition, and authenticity. Remember, reclaiming your power isn't just a personal act. It's a radical contribution and to create a more balanced, empowered world. Thank you very much, everybody, for joining us. Thank you very much to our wonderful special guest, CARLEY DOXTATOR, and thank you very much to our full-time panelist, Reverend Lydia Fougeres. Just before we go, I do want to share that this channel, this USA Global TV and Radio, we have 2 channels, has the coveted award winning of the YouTube Silver Creator Award, achieving over 100,000 YouTube subscribers, over 106,000 subscribers on our first YouTube channel, and over 35,000 on our second YouTube channel. Thank you very much to all of our subscribers. We love you, and we really, really highly recommend that you share the good things on the channel by downloading our app, share it with your friends, USA Global TV and Radio, and be part of the global family, bringing hope, education, inspiration through storytelling. It's available on Amazon, Fire, Roku, Android, Apple TV, and TikTok, X, and many, many more. Thank you very much for joining us. We look forward to seeing you next week at the same time. That's 2 p.m. Eastern Time and 7 p.m. British Summer Time. Have a wonderful week, everybody. A massive thank you to Dr. Jacqueline, who's been doing the whizzy effects behind the scenes, our executive producer and visionary extraordinaire and founder of the channel. We look forward to seeing you next week. In the meantime, have a wonderful week. Bye-bye for now. And over to our sponsors.
In a world craving connection, one platform dared to dream bigger. USA Global TV and Radio, a beacon for global voices, authentic storytelling, and elevated listening. Led by visionary Dr. Jacqueline Kerbeck, the journey from a spark to a global force is now captured in one inspiring book. Honored with YouTube's Silver Creator Award for surpassing 100,000 subscribers. Discover the evolution, the challenges, the triumphs, and the unstoppable spirit that created a global movement. Executive producer Dr. Jacqueline Kerbeck. Music score by Yeffy Tang. Creative director Paul Garcia. This video and its contents are the exclusive property of USA Global TV and Radio. Unauthorized use, duplication, or redistribution in any form is strictly prohibited. Now an Amazon #1 new release in paperback and ebook. Broadcasting Brilliance, the evolution of USA Global TV and Radio, is inspiring readers around the world. Join the movement that's redefining global media one story at a time.
From the magical world of the amazing adventures of Lady Ella comes a heartwarming new journey filled with kindness, courage, and compassion. Lady Ella, the beloved ladybug and listening mentor, is back, and this time she's not alone. Meet her brave and thoughtful brother, Lord Jack. Together, they take flight on their very first kindness adventure. Along the way, they meet 3 new friends in need: a duck feeling discouraged, a mouse struggling to be understood, and a busy little bee who's completely lost. But with the power of elevated listening and simple acts of kindness, Lady Ella and Lord Jack show us how understanding and empathy can make the biggest difference in someone's day. Written by Dr. Jacqueline Kerbeck, the listening mentor, this 9th book in the best-selling Lady Ella series teaches children ages 5 to 10 the essential skills of listening, kindness, and etiquette. Now available for pre-order on Amazon. Scan the QR code and order your copy today.
Thank you, viewers and listeners of USA Global TV and Radio, for joining us today. We're honoured to have your time and attention as part of our global community. At USA Global TV and Radio, we believe in the power of authentic conversations, meaningful connections, and creating a world of possibilities together. Want to be part of something bigger? Join our team of elevated listeners at usaglobaltv.com, a space where your voice matters and your ability to listen transforms relationships. Stay connected with us across all our platforms for thought-provoking discussions, expert insights, and empowering stories. Subscribe to our channels at youtube.com/c/USA Global TV. Follow us on social media and explore the endless opportunities we're creating for growth, learning, and inspiration. Together, we're not just broadcasting, we're building bridges and changing lives one conversation at a time. For inquiries, contact us at info@usaglobaltv.com. Music by Johnny Dies. Produced by Executive Producer and Director Dr. Jacqueline Kerbeck. Voiceover by Mike Porter. Creative Direction by Paul Garcia. All rights reserved. Copyright 2025. Visit usaglobaltv.com to view our full terms and conditions.